Good morning. Found this cool pedestrian area kind of outside this big mall yesterday, or a couple days ago. So I'm going to walk around that. This morning, I want to talk about at least two things. The first is, so I started reading Pieter Levels' Indie Maker Handbook yesterday, and I think I want to talk about the process and then what I'm learning. So the first thing is, I am treating this as a guide, not a book to read. And so with that in mind, I am reading it. This is something I've heard Alex Hormozy also do. He says he reads with notes open, like to get something out kind of thing. And so that's what I was doing yesterday. It's like, because I read in the morning, not in the evening, because it's like, anyway, yeah. Read with notes open, took notes as I was reading, and the other change was that, so the first chapter is on how to come up with ideas, and then the second is how to build your ideas, and the third is on launching your MVP. And I got through the first two chapters and up to the start of the third, and I was like, well, I don't have a thing to launch yet. So if I read this chapter, it wouldn't be directly applicable to what I'm trying to do right now. And so I just stopped, and I was like, I'm just gonna do the first two chapters. Well, I've already done the first chapter, but I'm gonna do the second chapter of building my MVP, and then continue, like once I'm done with that, continue with the book. And I think there's pros and cons to doing this, but pretty much every single book that I've read in the past, I just read through the whole thing, and I've heard a lot of good advice from reading a book and applying it as you go, basically. So I'm gonna try it this way, and that leads me to what I'm learning is this second chapter. He talks about, basically, you should build your idea, build an MVP that has the core functionality, and share it with people. And so this was a shift in mindset perspective, because I was kind of running with the idea that I would build a landing page, and then I would throw the landing page out and see what kind of validation I would get. But I was starting to question that, because I think customer acquisition for this current idea is going to be hard. It's like, I don't have an audience of YouTubers. So I'm going to have to do cold reach outs, pretty much. And so wouldn't it be so much better if I had something actual to have them use, kind of thing. So anyway, going from landing page to actually building an MVP. So that's what I'm doing now, and that's what I'm going to do today, is actually start building this, which is the exciting part, and that's actually what I'm excited for. And because I have this problem. That was the other thing, learned in the first chapter, that he said you should solve your own problems because you're an expert at your own problems. And there was a bunch more of it, but I think that kind of solidified that, okay, I'm just going to solve my own problems. Don't get fancy with this, trying to jumping in the healthcare space or whatever, yeah, there's money there, but like the person in the space is going to have a lot more knowledge. And I would have to partner with someone. Not really what I'm looking to do. So, anyway, I'm excited to actually build this because I actually have this problem and I am actually curious about the solution. And so, I think this is giving me permission to do it. So, that's what I'm going to do. And then put the landing page on hold and go from there. So, yeah, that's what I'm learning. It's been good. Gotta find either work in the hostel or find a coffee shop. I don't know. There is this coffee shop over here. Let's go check it out. The other thing I wanted to talk about today is I moved hostels yesterday. And the new hostel is okay. It's not great. But on the upside, the guy at reception, I think, is probably the nicest guy I've ever met in my entire life. Like, I wish I had a video of him. He's so friendly. He's like, oh my God. And the Wi-Fi, I think they have fiber because it's like a residential like unit. I think they have fiber, so it's like I got Wi-Fi speeds of 220 over 50 or something like that. Like, holy cow. But yeah, not a lot of places to work. Bed is a little uncomfortable. So we'll figure it out. Might be moving again. Looks like a cafe. Do they have outlets? I don't see any. So that's the hostel. The last thing is, do I tell a story about Sunday? I can make it quick, I suppose. That's probably just gonna end up not being true. So I have to talk about food because it's so not good. And this is one of the reasons why I think I have gravitated towards just finding one place and sticking with it. So there's a whole bunch of malls over here. I mean, probably should have showed you a whole bunch of malls, tons of food options, but not a lot of like good quality, healthy food options. The stuff that like I need on a daily basis kind of thing. You know, it's great to have like whatever, bowl of ramen every once in a while, but not every day. So what do I say? At the last hostel, which was actually very close to this one, there's a food, pretty much every mall I've noticed has a food court on the ground floor, which is pretty cool. And the last one, they had some vegetarian options. I didn't really look at the menu too hard, or that menu stall. I ended up eating at this Thai like food stall shop thing. I think 3 days in a row. I think every day I was there, and just eating like pad Thai and pad see ew, which look, I have to eat something. I know it's not good, but I mean, it tasted good. And you could add extra noodles and extra chicken for cheap. So I did like that. Unlike the Thai place in this mall, that was a little bit more upscale, but not customizable. Anyway, on Sunday, I wrote my blog post, and then I ate at the Thai place. And then it was like 2 p.m. or whatever. And then I remember what I did in the afternoon. I did something, and then I came back. I went on a long podcast walk. That was fun. And I was like, okay, it's dinner time. I'm hungry. What do I eat? And just that, what I just said, is the problem, I think. Just the fact that it's a question is what I don't like. Like, there's a time and place for experimenting and you know, looking at new places or whatever, but like, I like on the majority of my days to just not have to think. It saves so much mental energy. Oh my God. And so I was like, oh, okay, you know, I thought about going to Five Guys the previous day, so, you know, use my bulking excuse and I'll go there. And so I went to Five Guys, and I walked in, and I was standing in line. I was like next in line, and I was looking at the prices, and I was like, holy shit, this is really expensive. Just there's so much context here. Just like a double patty burger, a cheeseburger, was 38 ringgit. Fries are 17 ringgit, and a shake was 24 ringgit. If you get all of that, it's like 15 US dollars. But here's the thing. If you go 2 levels below, you can get a plate of pad thai for 18 ringgit, and it's like really good quality. and so like the reference range has changed for me. Like 25 is like kind of a lot. 25 ringgit is kind of like a lot for a meal. You know, it's on the higher end, and it's like, that's like $5 US. But anyway, so standing in line, I was like, oh, so expensive. I'm gonna end up spending, because I spend about $15 US a day here. And so I'm like, I'm gonna spend 15 US entirely on one meal. And I was standing there, and I was like, oh, it's also not healthy for me. Like, why am I doing this? And so I literally turned around and I left Five Guys, and I was like, let me try and find something else. And I walked around for the next like 20 minutes trying to look for some kind of restaurant that looked interesting, and looking on Google Maps and like all these different places, just way too much information, too many options. And I was just like, I want just like a grain, just a rice bowl with chicken and broccoli and cauliflower and tempeh with, you know, peanut, crushed peanuts sprinkled over. Like, I want that so badly, but there's nothing here. So after 20 minutes, I was like, this is ridiculous. I'm just walking around. I'm frustrated, impatient, hungry, and I can't pick anything. And so I just walked back to Five Guys and got Five Guys. And I literally, like, the shame I felt sitting there eating my burger and fries and milkshake. I mean, it was good, but it's just like that. This is the reason why I put the locations of healthy food restaurants on my housing search map. Like, this is the reason. And so, yeah, this area, it doesn't have a ton of options. Though I did find one. There's one in this mall here that was pretty much exactly what I'm looking for. It seems to be a little bit higher on the price side, but good quality. So probably just gonna go there every day. There's another plant-based place that I've been to before, different location, but like on the other side of the hostel. So anyway, yeah, I don't know. Look, finding restaurants this is not a new thing for me. Like, as I've actually gone back through some of my notes, and I've seen notes from years ago that were like, I wish there was just like a better way to find restaurants. And I was like, so this is not a new problem. But yeah, I don't know how to explain it. I don't know if it's choice, but there's so much mental energy I lose from this process of decision fatigue, trying to figure out which restaurant to go to. And instead, when I know just where I'm going, it just, like, my life is aligned basically. And yeah, so I'm gonna call it there. That's my super quick, just like a couple minute story. It'll just take 30 seconds, take half the video. Anyway, this is the most light I've seen in the morning in freaking years, dude. Very nice little pedestrian area. Speaking of all of my anti-pedestrian things, if you've been reading my blog posts. That's what I have for you today. See you tomorrow.